Hello, everyone, and welcome to another scene of in Edessa, season two. Yeah, we start the scene with Irene, who has a really intricate way of starting the night. As she wakes up in Edessa, um, then first has to go to Timuran to hunt, and then back to Edessa. Um, this is really complicated.
That
Has
is
to,
complicated.
yeah. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Then probably do some chores, some work, regular things. But usually somewhere at like the second half of the night, she has some time to, go ahead and venture after her own interests and her own things. And this night, well, in one of the previous nights in Elysium, she has agreed to save the second part of this night to spend some time with the lady Johanna, who I remember now does not wish to be called a lady, but hey, whatever, it's where we are. As the two of them have um, not been talking for a while now, not because of issues between them, but probably more because of very busy schedules on both sides. And but Irene's thoughts have been dwelling on Johanna at least, a couple of times during the past weeks, as she is kind of, well, I mean, for as far as a fledgling can be worried about an ancilla, because usually the ancilla is the one who has their life better arranged than the fledgling. Um, so for as far as it's possible for a fledgling to worry about an ancilla, Irene has been worrying about Johanna. She's seen a couple of things. Um, and yeah, she is kind of wondering what's up. So she has agreed with Lady Johanna, Sister Johanna, to get together at Johanna's place. Or actually, she would have asked Johanna where Johanna would have preferred it, because they can also have the meeting in Ulrich Solthaven in Edessa. So yeah, that's where we're gonna start the scene, I guess. With
Johanna is staying close to home for the most part, most of these nights. So she would have invited Irene to please come and join me, and offered to send the carriage.
hmm
Um,
um yeah.
it ends up coming a little bit later, perhaps, than Irene was expecting because Johanna had another meeting tonight and was using the carriage for it. Um, so a little bit later than Irene was expecting, um, the familiar carriage pulls up to the arranged meeting point, and Irene will recognize the ghoul that escorted her home before, sitting alongside the driver, and he hops off and gives her a very deferential, deep bow and opens the door.
Yeah, I mean, we'll nod back in return, and we'll get into the carriage. There's probably an escort with her.
Mhm.
Well, let's just say that she has her ghoul with her, which is actually a woman, like in her late 40s, early 50s,
Mhm.
um, dressed in a habit.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Irene usually doesn't take her long, but in this situation, she feels she doesn't necessarily need guards, but it's still appropriate to have someone with you,
Streets aren't necessarily safe. There's probably guards with the carriage. Like I feel like that's something
probably.
Johanna would probably provide. Um, just she doesn't want her fucking carriage getting attacked. so so that's I think it's pretty safe to say that as it rolled up, Irene would have been able to see, guards accompanying it. Um, so Irene. See, I did it already. Johanna takes Irene's safety very seriously too, especially when she's in her carriage.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For many, many reasons. So she
Sorry,
and
sorry.
whoever she
I
chooses
could
to
just,
be.
I could just imagine Johanna going up to Timran. So, Prince Ulrich, about your child. Oops.
Oh no. Oh no, no oops. No oops. That's gonna be a bad conversation right there. No oops. Let's not oops.
Yeah, no. Oh
So
dear.
under heavy guard, Irene is escorted across across whatever bits of town are applicable. I'm not quite sure where she would have arranged. I guess probably somewhere near Omar Shadid's shop.
Mm-mm. No, probably at the gate of the noble district. It's where
Okay,
Irene would have asked to be
perfect.
picked up.
Okay, there then. So it's not a long ride back to the guild halls.
No,
I think. Now I'm questioning my.
no, it's not. I believe if what I have in my head is correct, then it's not.
It's actually a pretty far ride.
Seriously,
Back
my head sucks.
across the city, down through Old Town and the Merchants District,
Hmm.
or whatever. Anyway, she
It's
gets
not the
there.
worst part of town to get through,
No,
though.
not at all. So, um, yeah, she shows up fairly soon at the door, and the porter unbars the gate and lets them in. He also bows to Irene, and welcomes her effusively, and the please come inside. My lady is expecting you, kind of thing.
Hmm. And the
Or
proper
should I say the
responses,
sister?
and I mean, we'll give the proper responses and that kind of thing, all that jazz, and we'll yeah, we'll head in. Her ghoul probably like alongside her.
Johanna meets her inside and comes forward to kiss her on either cheek, and she nods to Ghoul. And would you like
Okay.
for your lady to be made comfortable while we talk?
Yes, that would be. I'm actually trying to find if I actually give this woman a name. I did not give her a name. This is so bad. I need to remedy that at some point. But yeah, she'll nod and says yes, please.
Irene will notice that though the place has been well scrubbed, it's in a very different condition than she's seen it before. Though she was there, unbeknownst to Johanna, she was there the night of the attack,
Mhm.
um, the mob attack. But it definitely, even though it's been scrubbed, and there's a thick, thick smell of incense in the air. Um, there are scorch marks on the walls that wouldn't quite come off, and the elaborate, beautiful wall hangings that were there before are gone. The place echoes a lot more than before. Um, there are fewer carpets on the floor. It before it had that very quiet, muffled sense of kind of delicately lavish um, softness, and now it's echoey and burnt. Um, though the carpets are starting to be replaced and things like that, and the lights are still dim. Um, if she's paying close attention, she can also hear the groans of the dying. Um, there have been many sick beds set up for um, various sick people, and that's a
Wow.
thing. Yeah. Um, and the smell of incense is it's super thick. It's not normal because it's trying to ward off the bad air kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but Johanna will give orders that the ghoul be taken and given something to eat and kept away from the sick.
Yes, please.
Yes. And then we'll show Irene back into her study. Oh, it's Irene. Okay. So since Irene is here, um, there are arrayed along one wall of the study there are four large looms arranged to face each other in pairs. So it's really hard to tell what's being woven on any of them. Um, because in order to weave velvet, you basically weave it between two looms and then cut them in half and have two exact replicas,
Okay. Now
which
you
is
know
kind of neat.
something. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
um, but if Irene is anyway, yeah, there's big looms set up in the back, and if you're paying attention, I'll let you make a perception roll to notice that they're special.
You know what? Let me just do that.
Sure.
As soon as I find my perception, alertness. Whew,
Jesus. Okay.
wow. Look at that.
So in the dim firelight of the room, you notice that there's a distinct glint of gold showing. Even though the patterns are hard to make out from the back, you can tell that there's actual gold in the threads. Um, and Johanna kind of glances at them as they enter, and then seats herself at on one of the couches, and gestures for Irene to make herself comfortable wherever she likes. There's a small fire burning, but it's kept low again.
Mm. I mean, will also take place on one of the couches. Like at a respectful distance of Johanna, but not like standoffish or frightened. Like, you know, it's just the distance that you keep when you can still have like a
Sure,
pleasant conversation.
sure, absolutely. Can I get you anything?
No, I'm fine.
She's going to study Irene's face briefly and let's see. Can you tell if someone's starving from read the soul? Hang on. Is
I
hungry
mean,
one
I
of the
think you can
symptoms?
make a P&E roll to see if she's lying about whether she's fine or not. I don't think you can actually see from someone's
That's what I
face.
was wondering if you can tell from someone's aura. Um,
Their aura. Hmm.
like is hungry one of the
Of the
colors?
colors? I don't think so because hungry
No,
is
it's
not
not.
really an emotion. But then again, there are certain emotions that people start feeling when they're hungry.
That's a good
So,
point.
you
Does she look
know.
hangry? I will point out that Johanna keeps her hands tucked close to her body. Uh, it's it's distinctive tonight. Where's my character sheet? There it is. Okay, so perception, empathy. Two, six. She has two successes. Does she seem like she's fine?
um, yeah. Let me actually get like see if I can find like a main color for Irene like now.
Oh, she wasn't using read the soul. Oh, well, yeah, we'll make that a read the soul. Think that sounds way better.
Sorry,
Because
I
I
thought you
really
were.
enjoy it. So no, you tempted me, and now I want it.
Oh dear.
I feel
Oh
like
dear.
we'll have three.
um. So, how many successes did you get on that too? Right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I think there is like at the moment a sort of pink and yellow as main colors.
Okay.
I guess. Like.
Aw. Oh, Irene. So she asks that question and looks at you intently for a moment. And then she just kind of like literally smiles fondly and nods when you say you're fine. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Please don't let that stop you if you need sustenance.
Oh no. No, I have fed already tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
I would
It's
have offered you.
mm,
She gestures. I would have offered you blood.
mm,
But if
well,
you are already fed.
sorry, things were happening with my phone. Yeah, no, I have fed as well earlier this evening.
Well, it is a pleasure to see you always. How have you been?
It is indeed. I have been, well, I mean, we can't deny that these are trying nights for all of us, but I am, given circumstances, quite all right, and things are going quite well. How about yourself? It's been so long.
Mm, it has been. I have been troubled, and yet we all have. My plight is not unusual, nor interesting.
I feel that I would have to disagree with you on that, my lady.
Her
I.
brows raise because Irene is not usually disagreeable.
It's true. She
See
uh,
how
she
I'm
does
kind of
actually lower her gaze at that point.
oh.
I have seen. I was present when this place was under attack. I couldn't do anything though. I had a difficult night as well, and unfortunately was only able to watch from a distance. Any interference I would have given would have probably only made things worse.
Yes, I think you chose wisely. It was
Mm,
a night fraught with danger. I'm
indeed.
pleased you were not hurt.
Mm. I was at a distance. I was behind the crowd, so but it's been, well, a night that certainly has left its impact.
She glances around the room and nods. Where before there were lots of books in here, there are none.
Mm,
It's much more stark than it was before, though she's replaced the carpets on the floor and um the furniture's all new.
confront.
It has indeed left its marks. I fear that we'll leave more in the coming nights. But, as you said, these are trying times. It is not the first time I have been subject to a witch hunt.
Then we can only pray that it will be the last.
I do not care to waste my prayers on impossibilities, but
Then I will pray.
thank you, Irene. I am only grateful that more damage was not done, and that no one I care for deeply was badly hurt.
How is Lady Margot doing?
I have not spoken to her. Not, not in some time. Not since the night of. Well, what happened in Omar Shadid's
She
shop.
was with you at the guild halls, was she not? That
Guildhalls.
night?
Oh, that night, yes. Yes, indeed. We are
Hmm.
friends and clanmates.
Of course. I just um out of character because now I'm confused. The demon thing was before the guild halls, right?
Before the guild halls.
Yeah. Like as in time wise.
Oh no, the demon thing was after
Was
the
it
mob
after?
came. Yes, it was
For
definitely
real?
after because
I thought it was
Johanna did
before.
not
Oh
know
my god.
that. No, the demon
See,
thing
there
was
you
after that because it would have been small and cute if Johanna hadn't done a thing, but Johanna doesn't have any idea that that's
go.
the
Oh right,
case.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh my god, sorry.
No, no, you're fine.
Ugh.
I just
I blame the hour.
exactly.
It's not the fault of the night. It's my own fault. I blah.
I'm usually pretty bad at that stuff, but this one I know for sure because I am guilty.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Now you just say it and it's like, oh right, yeah. So you've had no word of her.
No, I'm afraid not. Have you?
No. And it feels somewhat unusual,
Does it?
does it not?
Madeline has, as much as accused her of. Oh shit! What's the word? Out of character. Uh,
Infernalism?
in front. Thank you. Well, I don't have any excuse. It's not even that late here. Madeline has as much as accused her of infernalism. I imagine she's not keeping to the streets much, and I have certainly avoided suggesting social interactions, which might bring her into danger.
Do you think
It is
Madeline is
known
wrong?
that Johanna stops and, um, like a look passes over her face, like kind of a stubborn look for just a second, but it's Irene that she's talking to, and she lets that moment, like she kind of pulls back and considers the question.
For as far as Irene is concerned, it's not at all a question that gives any sort of hint at malice or something, mere
Mhm.
mostly concern and interest.
I've not known Margot very long. What I do know of her is that she's capable of deep, deep love. And what I understand of infernalism, infernalists wish only destruction. That cannot be the case for Margot.
Love, destruction, hate, it's all anger. These are all very passionate emotions, and in that regard, very closely related to each other.
Mm.
Someone who loves a lot uh, usually have a lot of fire in them.
Mm. I understand. I understand.
Mm, I'm maybe I am the wrong person to ask, as I am, of course, Alessandra was involved in that situation, and coming from a city of both Ulrich and Madeline, I do not try to get to Lady Margot. It is not my intent. I am merely perhaps curious is not even the right word, but interested
In her fate, or in
in her.
demon.
Mm, perhaps in both. I wonder how one can be caught up with. Ah, fuck, I will roll subterfuge for this because this is getting too close.
Oh!
mm, manipulation, subterfuge. I really have to put more dice in there at some point. Yeah, no. Fuck me, right? Tons of
Oh dear.
successes where it's not needed, and then blop.
I know, right? Oh, I got two. So go ahead and
Okay.
say what you're going to say.
Um. When you look at Irene as she's talking, it's like there's a sort of yeah, like compassionate, almost a look that she can that that feels that she can relate
Mm,
to
interesting.
Margot in a bit, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I merely wonder how someone can get caught up in such a situation. I mean, I've witnessed her with the first and the second demon, even, well, both times she was mostly confused.
Yes. That was also my impression.
So, how can you not realize you're making a deal with the demon? I'm interested in this.
You saw the first deal happen.
Yes.
It was.
But was that really the first deal? Why else would it show up and show so much affection if there had not been previous interactions already? I mean, I do not know a lot of demons. I know nothing about demons, but I don't know.
I'm gonna roll some nip sub here. And a -2 diff. Or -2 diff, -2 dice. Which means I have to math, which is really hard for me.
Oh no.
Oh, well, you might be able to beat that roll.
Yes.
Okay. As Irene is talking, Johanna's face, um, goes cold. Not like she's being cold towards Irene, but her expression kind of hardens, and it's clear that it's clear to you that she means it to stay neutral, but there's a deep worry and a deep anger that she's failing to mask. I do not know. I do not know. I know of no deals with demons that she has made besides attempting to get her key back to avoid making a fuss. I know that we are sometimes beset by things outside our understanding. And she gestures to her shadow. Um, and the gesture starts out fast and then gets like she starts to gesture very casually, very, very absently, and then um, as her hand moves, she stops, and then it's slower and more considered. I've begun to study what it requires to banish a demon. I only hope I get to her before anyone who would hurt her may.
You could always try and talk to my sire.
I've asked. I hope we shall be able to speak soon. From what you
I hope
say,
so
he's a
too.
wise man, and I have now seen him fight a demon.
Yes, me too.
But from what he said, he is not banished, only defeated for a time.
At least we can use that time to grow.
God willing. I'm afraid what I wish to know will be a secret he cannot share. We shall see.
Mm, as you said, my sire is a wise man. I do not think he would harm Lady Margot unless there's no way it can be avoided.
My Lady Irene, these are difficult nights. I believe that your sire is a pragmatist, or he would not have lived so long. I see his idealism in your eyes, and I respect it. And yet, resources are spread thin these nights. I believe he will do what he thinks best to protect his own, and I think he has little reason to love Margot, or to go out of his way to aid her.
I think if he can, he will. But I agree with you that there are many troubles these nights, and I'm afraid we have not seen the last of it.
No, I'm quite certain we have not. I'm quite certain there will be more. I'm worried for you, in particular. You
Me,
saw what happened to the Malkavians. It was no random fit. They were attacked. I know you see visions. If whoever comes against our city means to go after our mines first, I fear that you will find yourself under assault, Irene. Be wary. Surround yourself with those who are stronger than you, even if you frenzy. That if your mind is not your own.
I I am working on ways to secure my mind.
Are you?
Mm,
What an interesting answer. I'm pleased to hear it. I'm quite pleased to hear it.
I I have been I've been naive for too long, I think.
What'd she say? I've been what?
Naive, ignorant. I've been ignorant for too long.
I see.
Even though my time in the night has been short compared to most of us here in the city, I am still not even a year a K-Knight. But these
Hmm.
times, with everything that's going on, and the shadow that's lurking in the distance, I cannot I cannot simply walk around and
Hmm.
expect to be protected and expect to be safe. It's a foolish notion of a child.
Hmm. I see.
So I'm trying to grow up as fast as I can.
Well, few enough of us are as fortunate in our sires when we must grow up quickly. I think you'll do well. I have every confidence in you.
Yeah, there's another subterfuge roll coming there. Appearance subterfuge this time. She won't really say anything on that, but trying to keep a straight face. One success. God damn it.
Nope, just one.
Oof. So yeah, Irene manages to hide the fact that the relationship between her and Ulrich at the moment is not the same.
Johanna would have things to say, but she doesn't know to say them.
Good.
She's gonna pick herself up and she makes kind of a weird gesture with her hands, like it's hard to interpret, but it's just kind of a flick of both her hands that doesn't really turn into anything. Do you mind if I weave while we talk? It settles me to have something to do with my hands.
Of course.
She nods and goes to one of the looms and begins to slowly and carefully weave while they talk. Much more slowly than usual, but it's methodical and definitely has a slow, quiet rhythm to it. This is her thing.
I mean, we'll just watch for a while.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. There are certain attacks of the mind which one may grow used to fighting off. I would be willing to work with you on those that are mm, common to the Toreador, but it is not a proposition without its own risks.
I understand. I do thank you for your offer, but I,
You needn't
I,
accept or decline now.
it has nothing to do with whether I want to accept or decline. I doubt that Prince Ulrich would agree to it, and to
Mm,
do something like that without his permission,
absolutely.
it would lead to more.
Misunderstandings.
Yes,
Yes. Which I have no interest in, believe me.
neither have I.
And as I've said, you need not answer tonight. I make the offer, and should you find that you're in dire need of any such protections, any such work, know that I have offered.
Thank you. Does mean a lot, and even though I am only a fledgling, if you require my assistance, whatever form that may be, feel free to send word out. And if it is in my possibilities, my capabilities, I will definitely help you.
She nods graciously, but Irene is well aware that Johanna's a proud creature. And in like there's a little bit of stiltedness to that nod. Irene can probably guess that even though Johanna obviously doesn't say a thing, um, she's she's proud enough that it's almost well
Yeah,
you
accepted help from a fledgling would be really bad.
yeah right like you can well imagine that
Oh
she
yeah.
can barely bring herself to contemplate it. Like dear God,
I mean, it's basically what Irene said, even though I'm just a fledgling.
yes. Um, and she kind of laughs as she finishes nodding because she can understand. Yeah. Um, and besides, it is I who owe your clan, not vice versa.
I don't believe Irene knew of this.
Everybody knows the blood boon. Really? Irene has no idea?
You know how often
Well,
Irene
that's
texts
about to
all
be
that shit? I'm
okay.
like, unless it wasn't told to her, Irene doesn't know, and it has not been told to
Oh, wow. Okay.
her. So she blinks a couple
This
of
moment is about
times.
to be super interesting.
I mean, perhaps I will
I mean, the fact, yeah,
keep
the
a
fact you,
straight face with two
Jesus, yeah, you,
successes. Two
well, listen.
successes.
I'm actually going to use Read the Soul in this because this is,
Mm-mm.
um, that's a diff 5 for Read the Soul. 4 successes. Yes! This is a topic close to Johanna's heart.
Wow. Okay. The thing is, there's not really a shade for surprised.
Oh, interesting. That's fair.
There's not one.
Well,
So
make
I
up
mean,
if you were surprised.
yeah, the main colors are still like pink and yellow. Detect subtle shifts that are there are like from time to time there's like a shot of silver in there is some orange here and there, which is like kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The silver is definitely mixed with the gray. It's like from time to time kind of shooting around. And then there is like uh oh no, that's confused, but confused, yeah, confused would work. Mottled shifting colors. So yeah, as that statement is kind of like hanging there. There is that. There's the mottled shifting colors of like confusion for a
Mm-hmm.
moment, and then she's like forcing it down, so it kind of disappears again in the yellow and rose. Sorry, what did it say? Yellow and pink. Sorry, yellow and pink.
No, Johanna
Um,
did her own thing
yeah.
to hide her own surprise. Oh my god, these dice penalties. One success.
Haha, four.
Jesus. Okay. Um, well, she's more successful than before, but she's obviously not her best tonight. Um, and a look of clear, like, um, oh, what's the word I want? Like startlement, consternation flashes over her face. Like, what the fuck? As she realizes that Irene is surprised. And then as it clears, you see, almost a an affection. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best word. Just a flash of just kind of powerful of um maybe relief and affection for just a second.
Oh boy. So yeah, I think these two are kind of like looking at each other, and there's like this awkward silence, and Irene sure as hell is not the one to break that silence. So she is
Fair.
averting her eyes after realizing that she's been staring for a while, averting her eyes, and actually something you have not seen her do for quite some time. Well, I mean, especially not at Elysium. Her hand kind of goes to her skirt and um starts kind of touching, stroking the fabric.
Interesting. Johanna looks away and goes back to her weaving. Um, and after just a moment, she kind of nods. Again, she's weaving very slowly. She kind of nods to the fabric that she's working on. I am surprised you did not know.
Um, I was indeed not aware of it.
You need not explain. I am not as surprised as I could be. What is your skirt made of?
Good question. It's wool.
She she looks up and pauses her weaving and reaches out a hand, kind of gesturing her closer.
Yeah, Irene will stand up and just walk up to Johanna. Will stand next to her.
She reaches out to feel the fabric of the skirt, see how fine it is.
It's pretty damn fine.
Okay. She nods her approval. Well woven.
Yes. After all.
Forgive me, it is a professional habit.
Mm,
What do you call it? Professional. What's the word I want?
habit. I guess.
Obsession? Not quite obsession.
Mm.
Compulsion. Professional compulsion.
I would hardly be the Princess Charler if I did not at least look the part. And I will admit, I do like to dress pretty.
And this is no admission to be ashamed of in front of a toreador. I cannot help but admit myself that it gives me some fellow feeling for you. I'm quite fond of good fabric. Occasionally more fond than I ought to be, I'm told.
It is a pleasure wearing clothes that are made for you or that just fit. Actually,
It is indeed.
it's a variation on a dress that my sire made for me when he was not yet my sire. A gift he gave this summer.
Ulrich made you a dress.
I think he ordered one, but
I see. I was about to find a new respect for yourself. Truly, if he were a tailor as well as all of the many things you have described him as, I
he
should
is
be forced to go and introduce myself at my earliest possible convenience instead of his.
he is close to perfect, but I have not seen him work with a needle.
I see.
I
I
will have sipped up. I will have sipped the fuck out of that. God
Ooh,
damn it.
okay.
Although it's not
Oh,
the fuck out of it. It's only one success, but
oh. Well, fine. She says fuck off.
oh wow, that's even a botch.
No,
Oh
no,
god.
just a failure. I got a
Oh,
10
all
there.
right, yeah, yeah. Oh god, yes. Good. Sorry, I saw the -1. I'm like, botch? No.
I know, I hear you.
Ah,
Not a good
that's,
time for a
that's
watch.
good. No, no, no. So yeah, no, there's just nothing on her face. It's just yeah.
Well, what occasion was there for him to make you a dress, or have a dress made? I hope you'll indulge my curiosity on matters of professional curiosity. If the question is private, please consider I have not asked it.
Well, I mean things back because her player is like, when was it again?
Why did he make me a dress?
yeah.
It's fair.
So I think I have the right. I think I have this right. If I have this wrong, I have to look this up actually. But if I have this wrong, I will come back at you for this.
Okay.
But Irene will smile as she tucks on the dress. It's color is green. Actually, it almost matches the color of her eyes.
Hmm.
I told you the story of Father Louis, right?
Yes.
Mm. I tell you the story until the end, correct?
Yes.
So, as my former sire and I were basically in Lord Ulrich's care after this all. He and I had a conversation, and I think he was trying to comfort me.
I see. Very perceptive of him.
Mm, indeed.
Hmm. A good choice. And so you approved of his fashion sense and have had it copied.
Indeed.
Is it flattery to him? It does suit you.
Thank you. This one is made for the warmer or the colder weather, though.
Does the cold trouble you?
Not much, but
But
actually
appearances
not at
mostly.
all. Exactly.
She nods. She understands. She gestures to her habit, which is kind of, has seasonal, I'm sure seasonal variations, but for the most part remains the same, particularly inside. I am spared many of those considerations. Sometimes I think this is the entire reason Padre Jose has taken up the robes, that he
He
need not
was,
consider his dress.
or many other things. He was an interesting individual to meet.
You seem to have been making an interesting friend.
It is. You are talking of the Tsimiti also.
Indeed.
Yes, I am surprised that I am the to go to person for the Tsimiti when it comes to lessons in etiquette.
Johanna's hands pause as she's weaving because she's also surprised. This notice comes as a surprise to her. Kind of a, the fuck did I just kind of just hear? That is indeed surprising, she says, bluntly and a little archly.
But an honor.
The Zemisi are known for their manners, or at least for hmm,
Their hospitality.
known for indeed, and for defining manners as they see fit, without with little care for the input of others. Perhaps as a clan they are turning over a new leaf, and you are the careful gardener.
Ah, I think that would be too much credit for any fledgling to take.
But wouldn't it be interesting?
I merely hope for them to look favorably upon me.
Yes. Well, your clan and theirs have not been at odds, and they are valuable friends.
Indeed. And for most of them, I find their company to be quite pleasant.
Hmm.
I think Gufran and I could not have found a better coterie mate than Akrios.
Hmm.
He is, in many ways, a lord.
He has a great deal to recommend him. I have not spent much time in his company, but your assessment seems to me in all ways fair, from what I have seen.
Even if he is still rough around the edges, he is a fine gentleman and a very interesting conversational partner.
Hmm. Interesting. And he carries himself well. He's obviously well bred.
Indeed.
She nods her approval. Oh, Jesus. Do I have enough dice for that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Or
I do.
hiding all that fluster.
Oh,
Oh
close.
my, close. Mm,
Leon just nods and keeps on weaving.
yeah. There's I'll just give you that Irene is not looking at Johanna
Okay.
as she says this, looking out of the window. If there is one, of course there's one.
No, not in the study. There's no
Ah,
window.
ah, and she will study the weaving.
It's very fine. It's hard to see
Mhm.
what's happening, but it kind of get the sense that you might be looking at some kind of a skyline.
Hmm.
Well, I wish you good fortune in all of your coteries endeavors.
Yes, we are. We are working on a mission of the Seneschal right now.
Are you?
Yes.
I'm interested to hear the tale if you can speak of it. If not, again, please forget that I asked.
As soon as I can, I will.
Excellent.
I am not sure if it's a. Hmm. I'm not sure if it's a secret or not. I think I can tell you what it is about. There have been disappearances of neonates, one of your clan.
I beg your pardon. Who among my clan has disappeared?
Yes. His sire was Sir Carter.
That up because it has to. Dawn is smarter than I am. I don't fucking remember who's who.
I mean, I don't remember the name of the actual guy of this.
Sir Carter. Neonates. Let's see. Oh, okay. Interesting. Um, she pauses and squints at you and says, "You mean Brother Carter?
Of course.
Brother Adam?"
Yes. Father Adam.
I see. Is he a father?
Mm.
She nods. Keep in mind, you do no favor to a man or woman of the cloth to address them by secular titles, even if sir seems to you more polite.
I
We
beg your
recognize.
forgiveness.
No need. None at all. I'm not offended. It's an important point of etiquette.
It is indeed.
And as you seem to be the city's quickly foremost opinion on etiquette, I might find myself forced to explain over and over again if I do not correct you quickly. I
You
hope.
are right as always, Sister Johanna.
Anyway, Neonate. I cannot think immediately of any of his childhood, but I am concerned by this news. And others have gone missing as well. Since before the plague, I assume?
I said I'm not quite sure how much I can tell you.
Ah, I apologize. Yes. Troubling, though.
Yes.
Though I should not be surprised in these nights, with things as they are, if many among our number disappear. Obviously, there are things that surprise the Seneschal about such disappearances. I'm pleased he's keeping an eye on the neonates.
Well, we are making progress.
Be safe. To send a fledgling after something which is preying on neonates seems to me a little risky.
With Lord Ecleos and Sir Gufran on my side, I have nothing to fear.
I doubt that very much, and yet I also have every confidence in their ability to bring you back, even if it
Besides,
is terrifying.
as my sire reminded me, I managed to grab hold of a demon.
Was that you? I wondered. I find it difficult to track the shadows of the Sombra, and yet very much seemed that it was you.
It was. I still think it was more luck than any form of combat prowess.
Mm,
But, well, luck is an important factor.
indeed. If God is blessing your hands, if it is indeed your hands, I do not presume to know. She just kind of flaps a hand. If God is blessing your shadows when it is needed, that is a skill that none can learn.
Indeed. Like I even I read is working at that point. Which is rare, I can say, because she almost never like lets go. Like it's always a polite smile or something like that. And this is actually like a full-on smirk.
Yeah, I'm just gonna glance up and see that and actually just kind of laugh out loud and say, "Oh, I may have opened my mouth too wide again."
It's just quite all right, Sister Johanna. It was interesting.
You took my meaning at least.
Yes, I did. I did. And I did not mean to laugh at your words.
No, I enjoy the laughter. I am not my mentor.
Yeah, I can see now a man like him would have little patience, I can imagine.
Oh no, he has had very, very great patience. If there's one thing I can say of Padre Jose, it is that he has had very great patience. He has been my guide 15 years now, perhaps a little more, and has been very, very patient.
I was more thinking regarding a specific situation.
Do you mean the shouts of Orso?
No,
Her head comes up. What do you mean?
The destruction of Lord Orsini. Not his personal destruction, of course, because I know he did not die.
Does she say that?
Yeah? And Johanna knows
Johanna's
that she knows, right?
Does she?
I thought we talked about it. Oh
I
god, now
can't
I'm starting
remember.
to
I can't
doubt.
remember. I'm pretty sure Johanna. I'm pretty sure Johanna told her. So I think you're right.
I believe we told because Johanna told her about that, and then Irene told her about Father Louis.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, Johanna's hands pause. Um, and then stop entirely. Hmm.
I apologize to Johanna. I did not mean to
No
dig
apologies
up
necessary.
memories. That's but for me, I had not met your mentor. I only met the results of his actions, though. To see him in the flesh was quite revealing, interesting,
Hmm.
and somewhat intimidating. I will admit to that.
It would be wise to be intimidated by him. He has far more power than I understand. I know precisely where I should be if he had not come to speak to Orsini that night. And it is not a place I would choose.
I understand.
Mm. As for the destruction of his haven, Padre Jose has a remarkable patience. I do not know what transpired between them, as I was occupied in quite different fashion. And yet, having known both of them somewhat more intimately than perhaps I would like, I have a fairly good guess, I think. And I did not think it was likely Padre Jose's patience would run out, if you understand what I mean.
I guess there will, in the end, only be two who know exactly what transpired there, and knowing somewhat of the nature of the two of them, I doubt we will ever know for sure.
No. No, neither will speak on it.
No.
Though if I dared summon Lord Orsini back from wherever he's hiding, I should very much like to. She's gonna manip sub that because her intentions are not pure.
Oh my.
I mean, she's still 2 points bloodbound to him.
Ah, fair enough.
Like, oh yeah, some vengeance. Oh, what else? I love him.
Nope.
Yeah, she comes off as a cold fish.
Mm, cold fish or us. That's fine.
Hmm.
Erin was simply not. I, for reasons that I do not entirely understand myself, I think I would be, in a sense, delighted to see him return to the city one day.
You're gonna make me roll again.
Sure.
3 successes.
um.
She licks her lips once and then keeps weaving.
What are you trying to see? Because
Oh no, that was her manip sub.
oh, that was a nips up. Oh,
Mhm.
I thought you were peonying me.
Mhm.
Oh. Let me peony that. Haha, 4.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I mean, you see that there's an unmistakable yearning when you talk about wanting to see him in the city again. Johanna would have to make a road check
Oh no.
if it were possible to bring him back to the city, because she would love to see him again. The yearning there is real.
Then Irene, after a few seconds, again realizes that she's kind of staring and diverts her eyes. Won't say anything on it, but definitely files this away under. Huh.
That's fair. Nobody in Edessa loves Orsini like Johanna does.
Perhaps it's Chowler.
Good point. Maybe them.
Ah, if only we could love each other as much as Johanna loves Orsini.
Oh dear. Oh, vampire love, why is it all so fucking creepy?
This is true. Ah, yeah.
What then were your thoughts on Padre Jose?
He seems to be a man that likes his quiet time.
Mm, he does at that. Is that all?
It is difficult to give an opinion on someone who shows so little of himself. Even in
Mm,
conversation, he showed what he wanted to show, which was annoyance. Annoyance for being there.
mm,
That was very clear and very obvious. That was the thing that he wanted to show to the rest, to anyone present there.
mm.
So I think there's, I think he's hiding his real self underneath that
Mm,
air of annoyance. But what that real self is, whether that is better or worse, I would not be able to say.
mm. You should ask Prince Ulrich whether he thinks that Padre Jose is hiding his real self. I find his honesty refreshing.
Hmm?
The nights are full of lies. Lies that we tell ourselves, as well as lies that we tell other people. And in Padre Jose's honesty, I have found a refuge. and a quiet place. She looks up and gives kind of a little smile and a little shrug.
Irene will smile as well. I don't necessarily mean that he's a completely different person underneath the annoyance. The annoyance is very real. I think what I was trying to say more is that,
It's real. Sorry. That was actually hilarious.
wow, I think he hides his passions, guards them very well. I think he guards himself very well. But I
Perhaps.
could just be wrong. After all, I have spoken perhaps 5 minutes with him, where, as you say, you know him for 15 years. Oh, 50? What was it
15.
again? 15. Okay,
I
check.
should check my math because I'm real good at math. Real good. And by real good, I mean I'm not real good at math. I'm pretty sure it's 15. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's way more than that. Hang on. It's. No, it's not. It's 17. That's not way more.
That's not way more.
That's funny. Well, I hope he made a good impression upon you. And if not, I hope it will not. I hope that you will be able to work together as necessary for the
And
sake of the city. And I have faith in you that you should
I'm
manage those things.
I'm quite sure that if it would ever be necessary for the two of us to work together, which in all honesty I would highly doubt, because I cannot possibly see what a person like me could add to anything that he is involved in.
And yet, Clan Cappadocian and Clan Sombra are so close.
Yes, but as you find it hard to accept the offer of help from a fledgling, I can only imagine how he would feel if he would have to work together with me.
You have many uses. I
I
say that as a compliment.
Irene is resisting the urge to raise her eyebrow.
She doesn't even have to. Johanna just kind of laughs. Um, and and she laughs and kind of wobbles the what do you call it? I can't think what you call it. There's no way I'm coming up with weaving terms this late. Kind of the distaff. I think it's called a distaff. Anyway, wobbles the thing in her hand that she's weaving with.
I don't even know, so you could call it a dishwasher for all I care.
Just wobbles the dishwasher. Is there a higher compliment we can give one another as Canaanites? That we are useful. I think not, even if it is a cold sort of offering. But if there's one thing that will keep us safer than any others, it is to be useful. And once we cease to be useful to one another, the hunters become the hunted.
You're probably right.
Mm.
But I guess I'm still young enough to see the romance in things.
Good. It is important that we do not lose sight of the romance and things, I suppose.
Well, you as a Toreador should know, right?
She glances up and gives her a distinctly arch grin, like it's just completely impish for just a second. Like, yes. Indeed.
I'm glad that we could meet tonight.
As am I. I very much enjoy your company.
Likewise, and I was concerned. It is sometimes frustrating to stand on the sidelines so often, being but a fledgling, not able to really help, seeing those who you care about struggling,
Mm.
either with demons of their own or with demons that surround them. I wish very much to remedy that.
Mm. I understand. One thing you will learn as you grow old is that there are some things that we cannot keep, even from those we care about. Death, old age, sometimes demons. It's a difficult lesson, and I would spare you it if I could, and yet it is important to learn when it doesn't matter.
Fucking subterfuge.
Oh, I haven't forgotten my wound penalties one fucking time tonight in 2 scenes. I'm so proud of myself.
It should be. Nah, fuck it. I'll just leave it at this. 2 successes. Oh,
Oh, I
crap.
have 4. Actually, I have
mm,
5.
mm, Irene is giving you. Although she's trying to hide it, there's
Mm-hmm.
this look in her eyes that kind of says, like, part of that lesson is already learned. It gives off that vibe.
Aww. Aww. Um,
But she tries to
Johanna,
hide it with a polite smile and a nod.
Johanna, like, glances up and sees that and, like, stares for just a moment and kind of, just long enough for it to kind of register that I see, that she sees, you know what I mean? So that Irene sees that she sees, if that makes sense. And then she gives her, like, a nod of approval. Like, good job, you get it. And then goes back to her weaving. Do not worry for me. My nights are very interesting.
That is not always a good sign.
It's very rarely a good sign. But it is worse to be bored.
Perhaps.
It is hell on my weaving, though. Keep in mind what I've said about visions. I beg you. I think. I think we will have very little respite.
I will take your warning serious. I really need to find that girl.
Do you? She would be easy to find. I have considered bringing her into the city. She kind of raises a hand and makes air quotes to find her. And yet I worry that it is more dangerous here than there. I'm glad to hear that she's been spotted among the fields.
Yeah, I heard the same.
I'm interested that you should bring her up when I mention visions. Ah, yes, the ravenous primogen.
Indeed.
Indeed. That's
I
a very good
still,
point.
I still hope to find my answers there.
Did you meet her, this girl?
Only once, and only for a brief moment. I was occupied.
Oh, she's gonna look up. She's gonna peer right at Irene and she's gonna read the soul.
Oh, success.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh, but I just do a subterfuge, and you do actually a read the soul. Oh boy.
Yeah. One
Okay.
successive read the soul is like, I know your name, or I know if you're a vampire. Yeah, I see you're
Uh,
a vampire.
she's a vampire.
So she looks up and she gives you a piercing look, and then she just kind of reaches up and like rubs her head like it's beginning to ache a little, and she just laughs quietly and says, I may know something more than you think about how you are occupied. Be frank with me if you can. You're occupied.
I am. I was I was driving on my way from Timuran here to Edessa, and I heard music. It was very beautiful, and I followed it. Still not sure if I actually heard it or if it was something else, but the music, I started to sing along, and I found myself I found myself in the middle of a group of mortals watching a performance, but I wasn't just watching, and soon enough I was singing with them, being more part of the performance. It was a somewhat confusing thing.
Go on.
The skirt plucking intensifies at this point, though. It it enthralled me for a reason, but it was the other way around as well, or so it seemed. It was almost as if there was a deeper connection between me and the people that I was performing with. And after this, we spent some time together. Nothing, um, nothing untoward happened. Just company, talk, and she passed me by at that point. And I didn't realize until I was back in the carriage on my way back to Timuran. It was an interesting night.
Did she sing? Was she among
No,
the singers?
no, no, she just simply passed by.
You saw her eyes.
Yes,
She's a dangerous creature. She has magics I do not understand. If I had not gone well prepared, Aldrich the Wise and I would not have returned from our meeting with her.
I see.
We are
I was,
Anselo of our clan. These are powerful magics. You did not speak with her then. You did not startle her. She didn't know that.
no,
Excellent. That will certainly make things easier.
why? What happened?
She knew somehow. Her aura said that she was human, but she knew somehow that we were not as we seemed. She was afraid of us. Very afraid. When I asked her to come and speak with us a while, she pulled out a handkerchief and coughed into it, coughed blood, and the symbol therein dizzied both of us so that we could not find our own ears with our elbows. I dragged Aldrich the Wise into my carriage, and my coachman took us both home, where I think we should still be wandering the fields until the sun had come up. We were dizzy for the rest of the night.
Interesting.
Terrifying. But she was also afraid, and that makes it difficult to make her believe that I mean her no harm. I do mean her no harm, and yet it is very difficult to explain that to someone who has already taken a fear of you. As well I know.
Mm, very interesting. I must say, my desire to meet her now is has increased. I will admit, but I wonder why she's afraid. I would not wish for anyone to be afraid of me. Yet I know what my powers can do.
Well, fear is a very great motivator. You will someday be grateful when you can use it as easily as you use a smile.
Perhaps, but for now, as I do not know what the future will hold, for now I do prefer to settle things with a smile and not with fear.
As you should. It's important to have both. And I imagine you're perfecting the skills, as you should. And your smile will be very useful when we go to take this girl to the ravenous primogen. I suspect we must find some way to deliver her that will not involve sending the ravenous primogen staggering off trying to find her own shoes. I think that would not fulfill the bargain and get you what you are interested in.
I would like to know more about why she's afraid. I'm willing to forego my bargain if necessary. I would
Johanna's
not like
head swings around. Sorry, go ahead.
I would not like to see someone being hurt for my sake.
Will it comfort you to know that the ravenous Primgen loves her? I've seen it in her aura. This is. Oh, Johanna's watching her so closely right now. That's a really important question.
There are many ways of love.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
And as we stated, or as I stated before, love can easily be turned into obsession, hate, anger, these things, all these fiery emotions, they are close together.
Perhaps I should say that there was no violence in the love that I saw. There was compassion, pity, sorrow, perhaps.
Mm.
But your answer is very wise. And I'm glad to see that wisdom. You're very right. And you're very right not to trust the love of the ravenous Primogen. And yet, I found it reassuring.
I know my former sire loved me. I
Uh-huh.
know she did.
And yet,
Yes. And yet.
she nods.
Irene just looks sad.
Hmm.
But then we'll kind of try to shake it off
Mm-hmm.
and smile. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we shall see. First try to get first step will be to find her. And then we will continue.
Finding her will be easy. I can call her to my side any night. Tell me when you wish it, and she will be here.
I doubt that will make her less frightened.
Hmm. Perhaps. You're certainly right. And yet, to go back out into the wilderness with a creature who can turn my own head inside out. Hmm. This does not seem a wise perspective.
It just means you need to have someone who knows what you're doing.
Hmm.
Someone who knows that if you have not returned at a certain time,
Hmm. I think I should like my help to be a little closer than that.
fair enough.
But if you are. If you think the risk is more likely to reap the rewards, consider your strategy, and I should be happy to hear it.
I will think it over. If I have found something that I think might be a solution, I am more than happy to share it with you.
She nods.
Well, I'm afraid I've taken up way too much of your time, Sister Johanna. It was a pleasure.
It was. The time is freely given. But it is important you return home before the daylight.
Indeed. Thank you.
She nods. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you. I crave good company these evenings.
You can always send out word.
Thank you. I will do.
I mean, has been standing next to Johanna for the entire time. I just now realized.
Oh no! I just assumed she'd gone back and sat down. But
uh,
that's fine. Whatever. Johanna will rise to her feet and show her out. Get the carriage. Have the carriage brought around and have her lady fetched from where she was given food and drink and probably chatted with some nuns. And she'll lean forward and kiss Irene on either cheek and then send her off into the night. What remains of it.
hmm Yeah, and I think with that we can end the scene there.
Yes.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene of Edessa, the Dark Crusade. And we wish you all a pleasant, well, whatever's left of the night.